Why is that a thing? All right, Daisy Jones and the Six. It is time for my review of this novel because the TV show is coming out soon and I cannot wait. Okay, so Daisy Jones and the Six is by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and it's basically about Daisy Jones and Billy Dunn and their rise to stardom. It's written in a way that you're basically reading interview transcripts, so that's something that I think you need to be aware of before you go into the book and read it because it can be a little hard to get into in a format that's not a typical novel format. With that being said, I want to move into my main review for the book. Just know that I will mention a few spoilers at the end, but I will give fair warning before the spoilers start so you don't have to see them. So I've heard about this book long before I decided to read it. I actually read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo way before I read this. So I thought that it would be similar to The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and while it was in a way, it wasn't. That doesn't make sense at all, but because of the way that this is written, and it's written as transcribed interviews, it ended up being different in terms of storytelling when you read this novel. However, you still get a lot of that historical feel to it, just like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And so I often went through this book wondering, is this a true story? Is this based on a true story? I actually looked up in the end whether or not this was based on a true story, and that just goes to show you how well it is written. So obviously I touched on Taylor's writing style and her writing in general a little bit, but I do want to go into her writing style and how much I think it really affects the novel, because she writes in a way that is so fluid and it's so different for each character. Each character is so developed and their voice is so developed that her writing is just superb throughout the whole entire novel. You never get confused on who's talking and when they're talking, and I think that that's really important, especially if you're like me and you listen to more audiobooks than you read paperbacks and hardcovers. Because sometimes audiobooks are all you have time for. So yes, her writing, absolutely perfect. I definitely think her writing hits right on the mark for this book, and you will not be disappointed in that. The plot moved really smoothly, and I think that while it wasn't necessarily back-to-back things just happening, oh my gosh, like this happened to this character, this happened to this character, it wasn't like that. But you like the characters, and the characters are so developed that you really just follow along with them. You don't care that, oh my gosh, this tragedy happened and then this tragedy happened. You don't care that there's not a lot of tragedy. You just care about what's going to happen next with these characters that you fall in love with. And obviously, my favorite part about the novel is the characters. I think that formatting it in the sense that it's a transcribed interview, you really have to have strong characters, and you have strong characters throughout this whole entire novel. I loved Billy Dunn. I loved Daisy Jones. I hated Eddie, of course. You rooted for all of these characters the whole entire way through. They were so three-dimensional. You never had to guess what the motive was for a character because you knew the character so intimately that you knew that it was something that they would just end up doing, if that makes sense. My favorite character, though, was Camilla Dunn. And even though her story was like on the sidelines, and she obviously was not an important character throughout the whole entire book, she is my absolute favorite. She is my favorite type of character in a book. Camilla Dunn represents everything that I wish the world would represent. She's patient, she's kind, she's understanding to each character and each of their struggles. And you were never like, oh, Camilla is just being so horrible, she's making the wrong decisions. No, Camilla stood by her beliefs, and she went throughout the whole entire novel just being this person that everyone could rely on, and no one was ever like, oh, I don't want Camilla around. That kind of thing. So yeah, next we will get into the spoilers. So if you have not read the book, if you are going to watch the TV show and you have not read the book and you don't want to know the spoilers, stop here. Okay, so I don't have a whole ton to talk about for spoilers for this wonderful book, but I do have one thing that really bothers me, and It's the fact that Camilla had to die at the end. That bothers me so much. This is the same trope that I see over and over and over again. It is literally my least favorite book trope of all time. So you get this character, all right? Like I said, Camilla was patient. She was kind. She was there for all of her friends. She was always there for Billy. And you get this character like Camilla, and she's everything you could want in a person. And then, of course, by the end of the novel, she's dead. Why? Why did she have to die? They could have been like, oh, in the interviews, at the end of the interviews, instead of Julia saying, yeah, my mother's dead, she could have just been like, yeah, my mother's alive. Why? She didn't have to die. I didn't even want Billy and Daisy to get together. Like, I didn't even care if Billy and Daisy got together. I could have cared less. I liked Camilla and Billy together more. And of course, you know, they wanted Camilla, the writer wanted Camilla to die so that Daisy could have a chance with Billy. But I didn't need that. I didn't want that in my heart. I wanted Camilla to be alive. In my opinion, Camilla was still fairly young. She was only in the beginning of her 60s, and she died from a freaking autoimmune disorder. Why? That didn't need to happen. She was so good. The literal, like, that is, I hate that book trope. I will let you know this. Literally, that is my least favorite book trope because it just makes you feel like the good person has to die in order for the not so good people to progress in their storyline. And yeah, maybe it made Billy a better person, but why? Why? The character is too good, so she just has to die. No, please, no. I am so tired of that trope. All right, so that's my review of Daisy Jones and the Six. Please let me know what you thought of the book down below in the comments. And I cannot wait for the TV show to come out. I'm hoping that it stays true to the book. And I'm interested to see how they make this play out, considering that it is in interview format, the whole entire story. So I'm really, really curious to see how they do that. And obviously, if you like this video, please subscribe. I make book review videos all the time, and I'm so excited to get started with this new year and all of the new books that are coming out. So leave me some recommendations, leave me some comments down below, and I'll see you guys later.